Kia ora and welcome to the 10th video in this series of videos looking at the future of learning. And in this chapter we're looking literally at the future of learning. What we've learnt so far in looking at the four different learning systems is that each learning system has a uniqueness about it. And we need to then leverage that uniqueness about each learning system. For example, our sensory system we've pretty much got done and dusted and automated some time ago. So that, in terms of richness though, is something we can leverage. The more sensory data we can actually bring in to the memory of what we're doing, then the stronger that memory and the easier that memory is to find. It's like doing a search on Google and you wanted to look at the plates on the Stegosaurus, for example, on the back of the Stegosaurus dinosaur. You could search dinosaur and you'd get 50 million searches, but it would be random. You have to sift and sort your way all the way through that. If you put dinosaur plus Stegosaurus, that would cut that down to maybe 70,000 places you can go and find material. But if you put dinosaur, Stegosaurus, plates, that would probably reduce it down to several thousand. The more data you have to search with, the easier it is to find that memory. And so when we create memories, we want to create memories with as much sensory data as possible. And in particular, you want people to be able to feel something. If you want to learn something, you literally have to feel something. And that only applies to our last two learning systems. Feeling doesn't actually affect our rote learning. Sensory data does, but not feelings and emotions. But when we get to learning ideas and concepts, what you feel really does matter. Okay, so your strongest memories you have in your life about what's happened to you in your life are always emotional. Okay, because the hormones then tell our astronauts map that pattern forever and do it instantly. And so learning conceptually is our ticket to writing a successful curriculum. And what we've done in the past is we've tended to teach thematically. We've tended to do dinosaurs, and then we've looked at all the different concepts around dinosaurs. Okay? But we've only done them in one or two contexts. And so we haven't built an understanding. We've just built knowledge around dinosaurs. We don't have a fully understood, comprehensive understanding and ideas and concepts around dinosaurs after we've done that. Because there's so much stuff in dinosaurs. So we need to rethink that. So cause and effect is a concept. Two variables. Okay? Something changes here and it affects something here. The weather is a variable, is a concept, because there are so many variables affecting weather. You know, our ozone hole at the moment is just about healed. You know, we don't know why. You know, we've cut down on putting fluorocarbons into the atmosphere and a whole bunch of other things, but that's really a tiny proportion of what drove the ozone hole to fix itself. We don't understand fully all those variables and how they relate to each other. And so when we're learning, our most efficient learning system is not learning by rote, because in fact we can carry that around in our pockets, that knowledge, so to speak. We need to know some things, that's without a doubt, but we need to be careful about how much knowledge we introduce, because that gives us a distribution curve of success. If we keep that to a minimum, we've got a better chance of actually remembering and understanding what we're working on at the time. So what we want in this process here is to make sure that we actually keep our rote learning to a minimum, and we introduce knowledge just in time. And our focused output, our learning intention, is we want them to understand the idea and or the concept. Right? The more we can eliminate reading and writing from that schema, the more equitable the learning will be. So if we can watch video, that's a much better option for most people. Not all people, but for most people. So it's changing our processes, and so the future of learning is quite different. The future of learning is about young people having greater agency over their learning, taking responsibility for that, right? Learning how to learn. We need to show our children how to learn. And the next section of this book is about how to learn effectively. What does the learning process actually look like? Right? Because if we understand the learning process, we can teach kids how to learn. And in that process, we change their status. We change their status from students to learners. And in fact, if we keep pushing that, we change their status from students to learner educators. Because the best way for anybody to learn anything is to educate someone else. And so giving students the capacity to become learners, and then learners given the role of being an educator amongst their peers, gives them the best chance of actually building an understanding. Using video as prompts, using items as prompts, making sure people feel something, that gives us a capacity to map ideas and concepts extraordinarily quickly, as we've seen with the process of driving. So in the second part of this book, we're going to move into next, we're going to start looking at what does that learning process look like. But prior to that, the 10 chapters we've gone through to this point here frame up really the precursor to that. How does the brain learn? When we understand that, we can then make every subject an easy subject. Thank you very much.